Speak, ladies and gentlemen. Every great achievement begins with a way of thinking. Before someone becomes a respected leader, they first become a different kind of thinker. Leadership is not a title given by an organization. It is not something printed on a business card or announced in a meeting. Leadership starts the moment you stop asking, what do I have to do today? And begin asking, what impact can I create today? Many people spend their lives waiting for instructions. They complete tasks, follow routines, and hope someone notices their effort. There is nothing wrong with working hard, but hard work alone does not create extraordinary lives. The people who change organizations, inspire teams, and build lasting success think differently. They do not simply finish todayandapos, assignment. They prepare for tomorrowandapos, opportunities. A worker focuses on completing responsibilities. A leader focuses on creating possibilities. A worker sees obstacles and waits for someone else to solve them. A leader sees obstacles as invitations to grow stronger, smarter, and more creative. They understand that every challenge is an opportunity to develop character and earn trust. Leadership is not about controlling people. It is about serving people. It is about becoming someone others choose to follow, because your actions consistently reflect integrity, courage, and purpose. When people trust your character, they naturally trust your direction. The greatest leaders never stop learning. They understand that success today does not guarantee success tomorrow. They remain curious, ask better questions, welcome feedback, and constantly improve themselves before trying to improve others. Growth is not an event. It is a daily commitment. Thinking like a leader also means taking ownership. Instead of making excuses, leaders accept responsibility. They understand that while they cannot control every situation, they can always control their response. This mindset transforms problems into lessons and setbacks into stepping stones. Most importantly, leaders think beyond themselves. They are driven by a purpose bigger than personal recognition. They invest in people, encourage potential, and create environments where others can succeed. Their legacy is not measured by how much power they gained, but by how many lives they positively influenced. The world does not need more people waiting for permission. It needs more people willing to take responsibility, solve problems, inspire hope, and lead through example. The moment you change the way you think, you begin changing the way you live. Stop seeing yourself as someone who simply completes tasks. Start seeing yourself as someone who creates value, inspires confidence, and leaves every place better than you found it. That is the mindset that separates leaders from workers, and it is a mindset anyone can choose starting today. Leadership begins with vision, while ordinary work often begins with a task list. Anyone can complete assigned responsibilities, but not everyone takes the time to understand why those responsibilities matter. A leader sees beyond the immediate assignment and understands the bigger picture. Instead of asking, what do I need to finish today? They ask, how does my work contribute to the future we are trying to build? This shift in thinking changes everything. It transforms work from a routine obligation into a meaningful mission. Vision gives purpose to effort, and purpose gives people the motivation to keep moving even when challenges appear. Without vision, people simply go through the motions. With vision, every action becomes intentional, and every decision moves toward a greater goal. When people focus only on tasks, they often become trapped in a cycle of reacting to whatever is in front of them. They complete one assignment after another without considering whether those actions are creating lasting progress. A leader refuses to live in constant reaction. Speak instead. They think ahead, anticipate future needs, and prepare for opportunities before they arrive. They understand that success is rarely accidental. It is the result of consistent choices guided by a clear direction. Vision allows leaders to recognize which activities deserve their energy and which distractions should be ignored. They know that being busy is not the same as being productive, and productivity is meaningless if it is not moving toward the right destination. Leading with vision also means inspiring others to see possibilities they may not yet recognize. People naturally become more engaged when they understand the purpose behind their work. Simply assigning responsibilities may produce compliance, but sharing a meaningful vision creates commitment. When people believe they are contributing to something larger than themselves, they bring greater creativity, dedication, and passion to everything they do. A leader communicates not only what needs to happen, but why it matters. This sense of purpose strengthens trust, builds unity, and encourages individuals to give their best even when the journey becomes difficult. Vision requires courage because the future is uncertain. It is much easier to focus only on today's responsibilities than to think years ahead. A leader accepts uncertainty and remains committed to a long-term purpose despite temporary setbacks. They understand that meaningful achievements rarely happen overnight. Great organizations, successful careers, and lasting relationships are built through patience and consistent action. Vision keeps leaders focused during difficult seasons because they know that temporary obstacles do not define the final outcome. They remain steady because their decisions are guided by principles rather than emotions. Another important part of leading with vision is making decisions based on long-term impact instead of short-term comfort. Workers often prioritize finishing quickly, while leaders prioritize doing what creates lasting value. They are willing to make difficult choices today if those choices produce better results tomorrow. They resist shortcuts that sacrifice quality or integrity because they understand that trust takes years to build and only moments to lose. Their vision shapes every decision, reminding them that every small action contributes to a much larger story. Vision also encourages continuous growth. Leaders know that if they want to create a better future, they must become better themselves. They invest in learning, develop new skills, and remain open to feedback because they understand that personal growth expands their ability to serve others. They do not wait until they receive a promotion to start thinking like a leader. Instead, they practice leadership in every conversation, every decision, and every responsibility they are given. Their influence grows because they consistently demonstrate wisdom, responsibility, and a commitment to improvement. People who lead with vision are not limited by their current position. Whether they manage a large organization or are just beginning their career, they approach every opportunity with purpose. They look for ways to improve systems, strengthen relationships, and create solutions instead of simply maintaining routines. They understand that leadership is measured by influence, not authority. Because they focus on the future while faithfully handling the present, they naturally become the kind of people others trust and choose to follow. Every task becomes an opportunity to move closer to a meaningful goal, and every day becomes another step toward building something that lasts far beyond themselves. Taking ownership is one of the clearest differences between those who merely complete work and those who lead with purpose. Anyone can point to circumstances, blame difficult people, or explain why something did not happen. Excuses are easy because they shift responsibility away from ourselves. Speak ownership is different. It requires the courage to look at every situation and ask, and quote, what can I do to improve this? And quote, leaders understand that while they cannot control every event, they can always control their attitude, their effort, and their response. This mindset gives them the power to grow instead of remaining trapped by circumstances they cannot change. People who constantly make excuses often give away their ability to influence the future. They blame lack of time, limited resources, unfair treatment, or bad luck. While these challenges may be real, focusing only on them creates a habit of helplessness. Leaders refuse to let obstacles define their potential. They acknowledge reality without allowing it to become an excuse for inaction. Instead of spending energy explaining why something is impossible, they invest that energy into finding a solution. They believe progress begins the moment responsibility is accepted. Ownership also means admitting mistakes without trying to protect your ego. No leader is perfect. Everyone makes poor decisions, overlooks details, or experiences failure. What separates leaders from others is their willingness to accept those mistakes honestly. They do not hide behind excuses or blame their team when things go wrong. They say, and quote, I made a mistake and I will learn from it. And quote, this kind of honesty builds trust because people respect those who value truth over pride. Teams are more willing to follow leaders who are humble enough to admit when they are wrong and determined enough to improve. Taking ownership creates a culture of accountability. People naturally reflect the behavior of those around them. When a leader accepts responsibility, others begin doing the same. Instead of looking for someone to blame, the entire team starts looking for ways to improve. Problems are solved more quickly because energy is focused on solutions rather than excuses. Accountability becomes a shared value, strengthening relationships and increasing confidence throughout the organization. Leadership is not only about personal behavior, it is about creating an environment where responsibility becomes everyone and oppose habit. Ownership also requires initiative. Leaders do not wait for perfect conditions before taking action. They see what needs to be done and step forward without waiting for permission. They understand that opportunities often belong to those who are willing to act before they are asked, whether it means helping a teammate, improving a process, or solving a problem no one else noticed. They choose responsibility over convenience. Their willingness to act demonstrates reliability, and reliability is one of the strongest foundations of leadership. This mindset extends beyond the workplace into every area of life. Strong relationships require ownership. Personal growth requires ownership. Financial success, physical health, and emotional maturity all depend on accepting responsibility for daily choices. Leaders understand that lasting change begins by taking responsibility for what they can control rather than complaining about what they cannot. Every positive habit starts with a decision to stop blaming circumstances and start making intentional choices. Ownership is not about carrying unnecessary guilt or believing you must solve every problem alone. It is about recognizing your influence and using it wisely. It means asking better questions instead of making better excuses. Instead of asking, "And what? Why did this happen to me?" And what? Leaders ask, "And what can this teach me?" And what? Instead of asking, "And what? Who is responsible?" And quote, they ask, "And what? How can I help make this better?" And quote, these questions create growth because they shift attention from problems to possibilities. Over time, people who consistently take ownership earn the respect and trust of those around them. Others know they will not disappear when challenges arise or look for someone else to carry the burden. Speak. They become dependable in moments of uncertainty because they respond with responsibility rather than avoidance. Their example inspires confidence, strengthens teams, and encourages others to rise above excuses. Every decision to take ownership builds character, and character is the foundation upon which lasting leadership is built. One of the defining characteristics of a true leader is the ability to solve problems before anyone asks them to. While many people wait for instructions, leaders pay attention to what is happening around them and take initiative. They do not limit themselves to the responsibilities listed in their job description. Instead, they constantly observe, think ahead, and look for opportunities to make things better. This proactive mindset sets them apart because they understand that real leadership begins long before someone gives permission to act. Rather than reacting to every challenge after it becomes urgent, they anticipate potential obstacles and work to prevent them from becoming larger issues. People who wait to be told what to do often miss valuable opportunities to create positive change. They may complete every assigned task, yet still fail to make a meaningful impact because they never step beyond what is expected. Leaders think differently. They ask themselves what could go wrong, what could be improved, and what others might need before those needs are expressed. This habit allows them to stay one step ahead. Instead of constantly putting out fires, they reduce the number of fires that ever start. Their attention is focused not only on today's work, but also on protecting tomorrow's success. Solving problems before being asked requires awareness. Leaders pay attention to details that others overlook. They notice when communication is unclear, when a process is slowing down, or when a teammate seems overwhelmed. Rather than ignoring these signs, they take action. Sometimes the solution is simple, such as offering help, sharing information, or adjusting a process. Other times it requires creativity, collaboration, and persistence. Regardless of the size of the challenge, leaders understand that small problems ignored today often become major problems tomorrow. Addressing issues early saves time, builds trust, and prevents unnecessary stress. Initiative is another essential part of solving problems proactively. Leaders do not wait until someone points out what needs to be done. They are motivated by a desire to create value rather than simply complete assignments. They ask questions, gather information, and search for practical solutions without expecting constant direction. This attitude demonstrates reliability because people know they can depend on someone who sees challenges and responds with action instead of hesitation. Over time, this consistency earns respect, and opens doors to greater opportunities and responsibilities. Another important aspect of proactive problem solving is maintaining a positive mindset. Every challenge presents a choice. One option is to complain about the difficulty or blame circumstances. The other is to search for a way forward. Leaders choose the second path. They believe that every problem contains a lesson and every obstacle presents an opportunity to improve. This perspective keeps them focused on progress instead of frustration. Even when the solution is not immediately clear, they remain calm, think critically, and continue moving forward. Their confidence comes not from knowing every answer, but from trusting their ability to find one. Solving problems before being asked also strengthens relationships within a team. When people consistently look out for one another and take initiative, trust naturally grows. Team members feel supported because they know others are paying attention and willing to help without being reminded. This creates a culture where everyone contributes instead of waiting for instructions. Speak productivity increases because less time is spent assigning every small task and more time is spent achieving meaningful results. Leaders understand that creating this kind of environment benefits everyone, not just themselves. Proactive leaders are also committed to continuous improvement. They do not settle for good enough if something can be done more effectively. They regularly evaluate systems, habits, and routines to identify ways to increase efficiency and reduce unnecessary obstacles. They understand that innovation often begins with someone asking, is there a better way to do this? By challenging outdated methods and embracing thoughtful change, they help individuals and organizations continue growing instead of becoming comfortable with mediocrity. The habit of solving problems before being asked is ultimately a reflection of responsibility, awareness, and genuine care for others. It shows that a person is thinking beyond personal convenience and considering the success of the entire team or organization. Instead of waiting to react, they choose to prepare. Instead of expecting others to carry the burden, they willingly contribute solutions. This mindset transforms ordinary workers into trusted leaders because influence is earned by those who consistently create value before anyone expects it. Over time, people remember those who made life easier, removed obstacles, and found solutions when others only saw problems. That is the lasting impact of leading through initiative rather than instruction. Results are important in every organization, but lasting success is never built on results alone. Numbers can improve for a season, goals can be achieved, and projects can be completed, yet none of these accomplishments will last if the people behind them are neglected. Great leaders understand that the most valuable investment they can make is not only in performance, but also in people. They recognize that when individuals grow in confidence, character, skills, and purpose, better results naturally follow. Instead of asking only, how can we achieve this goal, they also ask, how can we help the people achieving this goal become stronger, wiser, and more capable? This mindset creates success that continues long after a single project is finished. Many managers focus almost entirely on deadlines, targets, and productivity. While these things matter, they often overlook the human side of leadership. People are not machines designed to produce endless output. They have strengths to develop, weaknesses to overcome, dreams to pursue, and challenges to face. Leaders who understand this take the time to encourage, teach, and support those around them. They know that every conversation is an opportunity to build confidence, every challenge is an opportunity to develop resilience, and every mistake is an opportunity to learn rather than simply criticize. Their goal is not just to get work done, but to help others become better through the work they do. Developing people begins with believing in their potential before they fully believe in themselves. Many individuals underestimate what they are capable of achieving because they have never had someone encourage them to think bigger. A leader sees possibilities where others see limitations. They recognize hidden talents, identify opportunities for growth, and challenge people to move beyond their comfort zones. Instead of doing everything themselves, they empower others to take responsibility, solve problems, and develop new abilities. This approach may require more patience in the beginning, but it produces stronger, more confident individuals who are prepared to lead in the future. Teaching is another essential part of developing people. Leaders do not keep knowledge to themselves because they understand that shared knowledge strengthens the entire team. They willingly mentor others, explain their thinking, and create opportunities for learning. Speak rather than expecting perfection from the start. They guide people through the learning process with patience and encouragement. They understand that every expert was once a beginner, and every successful leader was once someone learning from another person. By investing time in teaching, they multiply their impact because the people they develop go on to help others as well. Trust plays a vital role in helping people grow. Individuals perform at their best when they know someone believes in them. Leaders build this trust by listening carefully, keeping their promises, showing respect, and creating an environment where people feel safe to share ideas and admit mistakes. Instead of leading through fear, they lead through encouragement and accountability. They challenge people to improve while reminding them that growth is a process, not an overnight achievement. This balance between high standards and genuine support inspires loyalty and long-term commitment. Developing people also means recognizing that success looks different for everyone. Some individuals need guidance to improve technical skills, while others need encouragement to build confidence or strengthen communication. Great leaders pay attention to these differences instead of treating everyone exactly the same. They take time to understand each person and APO's strengths, motivations, and aspirations. This personal investment shows that people matter beyond the results they produce, and it creates stronger relationships built on mutual respect and trust. Leaders who prioritize people also understand the importance of celebrating progress, not just perfection. They acknowledge effort, recognize improvement, and appreciate contributions that often go unnoticed. These moments of encouragement remind individuals that their work has meaning and that their growth is valued. Appreciation creates motivation, and motivated people are more willing to take initiative, overcome obstacles, and contribute their best. A simple word of encouragement at the right moment can have a lasting impact on someone and a post. Confidence and future. The greatest measure of leadership is not how many goals were achieved during one person Andapos' time in charge, but how many capable, confident, and trustworthy people emerged because of their influence. Results may fill reports and earn recognition, but developed people create lasting legacies. They continue solving problems, inspiring others, and passing on the lessons they have learned. A leader who invests in people creates a ripple effect that extends far beyond a single team or organization. By choosing to develop people instead of focusing only on results, they build a future where success is sustained because strong, empowered individuals are prepared to carry the vision forward with wisdom, integrity, and purpose. The moment a person believes they know everything is often the moment their growth begins to slow. The most effective leaders understand that learning is not something that ends after school, earning a degree, or gaining experience. It is a lifelong commitment that keeps them prepared for new challenges, changing environments, and greater opportunities. While others become comfortable with what they already know, leaders remain curious. They ask questions, seek new perspectives, and constantly look for ways to improve. They understand that staying ahead is not about working harder than everyone else. It is about continuing to grow when others have stopped. The world is constantly changing. Technology evolves, industries shift, customer expectations change, and new ideas emerge every day. A person who refuses to learn will eventually find themselves relying on outdated knowledge and old habits. Leaders recognize that success yesterday does not guarantee success tomorrow. They know that what worked in the past may not be enough for the future. Instead of resisting change, they embrace it as an opportunity to become stronger and more effective. Speak. Their willingness to adapt allows them to stay relevant, make better decisions, and confidently lead others through uncertainty. Learning also develops humility. The more leaders grow, the more they realize there is still so much to discover. This mindset keeps their ego in check and their minds open. Rather than pretending to have every answer, they are comfortable admitting when they do not know something. They ask for advice, listen to experienced people, and value different viewpoints. This humility does not make them appear weak. On the contrary, it earns respect because people trust leaders who are honest enough to learn instead of pretending to be perfect. A leader who continues learning becomes wiser, while one who believes they already know everything eventually limits their own potential. Keeping learning is not limited to reading books or attending seminars. It happens through everyday experiences. Every conversation, every challenge, every success, and every failure has something to teach. Leaders pay attention to these lessons. When a project succeeds, they ask what contributed to the positive outcome so it can be repeated. When something fails, they ask what can be improved instead of searching for someone to blame. They understand that failure is not the opposite of success, but part of the journey toward it. Every setback becomes valuable when it provides knowledge that prevents future mistakes. Leaders also invest time in learning from people. They know that everyone has experiences and skills that can offer valuable insights. They listen carefully to colleagues, mentors, customers, and even competitors because they believe wisdom can come from unexpected places. Instead of assuming they are the smartest person in the room, they create opportunities to learn from others. This habit strengthens relationships while expanding their understanding of the world. People naturally respect leaders who value their opinions and are willing to learn from them. Continuous learning improves decision-making. The more knowledge and experience a leader gains, the more confidently they can evaluate situations, identify risks, and recognize opportunities. They are less likely to react emotionally because they have developed the ability to think critically and consider different possibilities before acting. This thoughtful approach builds trust, as people feel more secure following someone who makes informed decisions rather than impulsive ones. Learning provides clarity, and clarity helps leaders move forward with confidence. Another benefit of lifelong learning is personal growth. Leadership is not only about acquiring technical skills or professional knowledge, it also involves developing emotional intelligence, communication, patience, resilience, and self-awareness. Leaders understand that their character is just as important as their competence. They intentionally work on becoming better listeners, better communicators, and better examples for those around them. They know that people are influenced more by who a leader is than by what a leader says. Every lesson learned shapes both their abilities and their character. People who keep learning never stop expanding their potential. They see every day as an opportunity to become a little wiser than they were yesterday. They read, observe, ask questions, reflect, and remain open to change because they understand that growth is a choice made repeatedly over time. Instead of becoming comfortable with past achievements, they continue preparing for future opportunities. This commitment to learning keeps their minds sharp, their vision clear, and their leadership effective. In a world that never stops changing, the leaders who continue learning are the ones who continue growing, inspiring others, and staying ahead of the challenges that lie before them. A meaningful legacy is not built by chasing recognition, wealth, or personal success alone. It is built by living with purpose and serving others in ways that continue to make a difference long after you are gone. Many people spend their lives trying to leave an impression, but true leaders focus on leaving an impact. They understand that influence is not measured by how many people know their name, but by how many lives become better because they chose to lead with integrity, compassion, and commitment. Purpose gives direction to every decision, while service gives that purpose lasting value. Together, they create a legacy that extends far beyond personal achievements. Purpose begins with understanding that life is about more than personal gain. Every person has unique talents, experiences, and opportunities that can be used to help others grow. Leaders recognize that their abilities are not meant to be kept for themselves, but shared for the benefit of those around them. They ask meaningful questions such as, how can I make someone's life better today? Or, what positive difference can I create through my work? These questions shift the focus from self-centered ambition to meaningful contribution. When purpose becomes the foundation of every action, even ordinary tasks become opportunities to create lasting value. Service is often misunderstood as weakness, but in reality, it is one of the greatest expressions of strength. It requires humility to place the needs of others alongside your own. It requires patience to guide someone who is still learning and courage to support others even when there is no immediate reward. Leaders who serve understand that real influence is earned through consistent actions rather than impressive words. They do not seek attention for every good deed because their motivation comes from the impact they create, not the praise they receive. This quiet commitment to serving others builds trust, respect, and loyalty that cannot be demanded or purchased. Building a legacy through service also means investing in people instead of using them as a means to an end. Some individuals focus only on what others can do for them, but leaders ask what they can do for others. They mentor, encourage, teach, and create opportunities for people to grow. They celebrate the success of others without feeling threatened because they understand that helping someone else succeed does not diminish their own success. In fact, one of the greatest achievements of leadership is seeing others rise because of your guidance and support. A lasting legacy is built not by standing above people, but by lifting them higher. Purpose provides strength during difficult times. There will always be moments of disappointment, criticism, failure, and uncertainty. Those who are driven only by rewards often lose motivation when the journey becomes challenging. Leaders with a clear purpose remain committed because they understand that their mission is bigger than temporary obstacles. They know why they started, and that purpose keeps them moving forward even when progress is slow. Their determination inspires others because people are naturally drawn to those who remain faithful to meaningful values, despite adversity. A legacy is also shaped by character. People may forget the titles you held, the possessions you owned, or the awards you received, but they rarely forget how you treated them. Acts of kindness, honesty, generosity, and encouragement leave lasting impressions that often influence generations. A leader who listens with respect, keeps promises, admits mistakes, and treats every person with dignity creates memories that endure far beyond professional accomplishments. Character becomes the invisible foundation upon which every lasting legacy is built. Living with purpose and serving others requires consistency. It is not about one extraordinary moment, but about countless ordinary moments handled with excellence and integrity. Speak every conversation, every decision, and every opportunity to help someone becomes another brick in the foundation of a meaningful life. Small acts of service performed consistently over many years often have a greater impact than occasional grand gestures. Leaders understand that greatness is not achieved through isolated actions, but through faithful daily choices that reflect their deepest values. The most inspiring leaders are remembered because they gave more than they took. They left behind stronger families, healthier organizations, better communities, and more confident individuals because they chose to invest in people rather than simply pursuing personal success. Their influence continued through those they encouraged, taught, and inspired. A life guided by purpose and expressed through service creates a legacy that cannot be measured by numbers alone. It is measured by transformed lives, strengthened relationships, and the positive difference that continues long after the leader and Adipo's own journey has ended. That is the kind of legacy worth building, a legacy that reminds others not just of what you accomplished, but of how you made the world better through your purpose, your service, and your unwavering commitment to helping others succeed. A meaningful legacy is not built by chasing recognition, wealth, or personal success alone. It is built by living with purpose and serving others in ways that continue to make a difference long after you are gone. Many people spend their lives trying to leave an impression, but true leaders focus on leaving an impact. They understand that influence is not measured by how many people know their name, but by how many lives become better because they chose to lead with integrity, compassion, and commitment. Purpose gives direction to every decision, while service gives that purpose lasting value. Together, they create a legacy that extends far beyond personal achievements. Purpose begins with understanding that life is about more than personal gain. Every person has unique talents, experiences, and opportunities that can be used to help others grow. Leaders recognize that their abilities are not meant to be kept for themselves, but shared for the benefit of those around them. They ask meaningful questions such as, "And what? How can I make someone and Adipo's life better today?" And what? Or and what positive difference can I create through my work? And quote. These questions shift the focus from self-centered ambition to meaningful contribution. When purpose becomes the foundation of every action, even ordinary tasks become opportunities to create lasting value. Service is often misunderstood as weakness, but in reality, it is one of the greatest expressions of strength. It requires humility to place the needs of others alongside your own. It requires patience to guide someone who is still learning and courage to support others, even when there is no immediate reward. Leaders who serve understand that real influence is earned through consistent actions rather than impressive words. They do not seek attention for every good deed because their motivation comes from the impact they create, not the praise. They receive this quiet commitment to serving others builds trust, respect, and loyalty that cannot be demanded or purchased. Building a legacy through service also means investing in people instead of using them as a means to an end. Some individuals focus only on what others can do for them, but leaders ask what they can do for others. They mentor, encourage, teach, and create opportunities for people to grow. They celebrate the success of others without feeling threatened because they understand that helping someone else succeed does not diminish their own success. In fact, one of the greatest achievements of leadership is seeing others rise because of your guidance and support. A lasting legacy is built not by standing above people, but by lifting them higher. Purpose provides strength during difficult times. Speak. There will always be moments of disappointment, criticism, failure, and uncertainty. Those who are driven only by rewards often lose motivation when the journey becomes challenging. Leaders with a clear purpose remain committed because they understand that their mission is bigger than temporary obstacles. They know why they started, and that purpose keeps them moving forward even when progress is slow. Their determination inspires others because people are naturally drawn to those who remain faithful to meaningful values despite adversity. A legacy is also shaped by character. People may forget the titles you held, the possessions you owned, or the awards you received, but they rarely forget how you treated them. Acts of kindness, honesty, generosity, and encouragement leave lasting impressions that often influence generations. A leader who listens with respect, keeps promises, admits mistakes, and treats every person with dignity creates memories that endure far beyond professional accomplishments. Character becomes the invisible foundation upon which every lasting legacy is built. Living with purpose and serving others requires consistency. It is not about one extraordinary moment, but about countless ordinary moments handled with excellence and integrity. Every conversation, every decision, and every opportunity to help someone becomes another brick in the foundation of a meaningful life. Small acts of service performed consistently over many years often have a greater impact than occasional grand gestures. Leaders understand that greatness is not achieved through isolated actions, but through faithful daily choices that reflect their deepest values. The most inspiring leaders are remembered because they gave more than they took. They left behind stronger families, healthier organizations, better communities, and more confident individuals because they chose to invest in people rather than simply pursuing personal success. Their influence continued through those they encouraged, taught, and inspired. A life guided by purpose and expressed through service creates a legacy that cannot be measured by numbers alone. It is measured by transformed lives, strengthened relationships, and the positive difference that continues long after the leader's own journey has ended. That is the kind of legacy worth building, a legacy that reminds others not just of what you accomplished, but of how you made the world better through your purpose, your service, and your unwavering commitment to helping others succeed. As you move forward from today, remember that leadership is not reserved for a select few. It is a choice available to every one of us. It begins the moment we stop waiting for instructions and start taking responsibility. It grows when we choose vision over routine, ownership over excuses, solutions over complaints, people over personal success, learning over comfort, and purpose over recognition. The world does not need more people who simply complete tasks. It needs people who inspire change through their actions, character, and courage. So wherever you are today, lead from where you stand. Be the person who brings hope instead of doubt, solutions instead of problems, and encouragement instead of criticism. Keep growing, keep serving, and keep becoming the kind of leader others are proud to follow, because in the end, your greatest achievement will never be the position you held or the success you earned. It will be the lives you influenced, the people you empowered, and the legacy you leave behind. Think like a leader, act with purpose, serve with humility, and let your life become an example that inspires generations to come. Thank you.